Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video of my ESPN Fantasy Rosters. And as you can see, we got a win here. And we got a win here. We got a win here. We're 3-1. 3-1 across 4 leagues. Can't be mad at it. Now today, we're going to be going over my concerns, my comments, and my questions about my rosters. I'm going to give y'all insight on my pickups. I'm going to give y'all insight on my starts and my sits for this week's edition of Fantasy Football. You already know I'm here trying to show you guys who the real number one is. My QB1 in my highest scoring league was Josh Allen. He was rattled by the Jets defense. Now, I didn't watch this game because I was streaming for y'all, but I know he had a rough day, and people are thinking, "Oh man," excuse me for hitting the mic. People are thinking, "Oh man, what if?" You know, what if it's not Josh Allen this year? Like, what if he's not the guy? He's the guy. He's still Josh Allen. The real takeaway is the New York Jets defense is for real. You can't play with it. I'm not sitting him for the rest of the year as long as he's healthy. He'll be my QB1. I spent the 4th round pick on him. He's going to play. Now, on to Austin Eckler. You see that Q next to his name? That Q is my biggest rival. My biggest rival is that Q right there. But when he played, he looked like a top 3 pick. He was just, he was the man. Hopefully he's healthy, right? Kenneth Walker. If you saw him touch the ball, you would know that this kid has a high ceiling with loads of talent. I love Kenneth Walker. I liked him before the draft. I like him even more after week 1, despite the struggles of the Seahawks, because you didn't expect Geno to come out and shit the bed, but it is what it is. I think they'll be fine. I think the Rams surprised a lot of people, including myself. Matt Stafford looked like Matt Stafford, even without Cooper Kupp. Now, I'm going to speak a little bit on Puka. I saw him. He got a lot of targets. He got a lot of catches, but I like to see it, you know? There's 1 week. We saw it. It's cool. He put up big numbers. Let's see him do it again. Not even on that scale, you know? Just see him do it. Let's call it 7 catches, 60 yards. Average day. If that's his average day at the office, I missed out. And it is what it is. Maybe I'll trade for him. Who knows? I'm on Ross St. Brown. It's just, he's a wide receiver 1. He's going to finish top 5 this year. Book it. Count it. I said it. Calvin Ridley. He's a wide receiver 1. He's going to finish top 7 this year. Book it, count it, I said it. Both of these players are in pass-heavy offenses. Trevor Lawrence is better than Goff, but St. Brown's better than Ridley. Not by much, but he is. St. Brown's the most underrated receiver in the NFL. Calvin Ridley is the most slept-on receiver in the NFL because motherfuckers forgot who he really was, but coming out of Bama, I knew that boy was special, and I knew he was going to show out. Showed out for the Falcons, got a bullshit suspension, came back, and started just doing his thing, you know, like, props to Calvin Ridley for standing out and being a man. Goddard, oh my God, no catches, no points. I'm not worried. That's what I'm about to say. I'm not worried. It's not going through my mind that I'm thinking about another tight end. Like, I'm not worried about Goddard. He's always been good. He will still be good. He will find ways to be involved in the offense against a good Patriots defense. He didn't find the ball coming his way. There was a few times where he got missed and open in situations where he was open. He's gonna get the ball, you know. On to my RB3. I'm gonna have to see it out of Alexander Mattison. You know, last year, the years before that, maybe it was him just coming in mid-game with fresh legs that made him look so explosive, and now maybe that he's got a starting role. He don't look the same, but then again, it's only week 1, and the volume wasn't what it could have been because of Kirk Cousins' struggles. I think this offense will put it together, and I'm hopeful on Alexander Mattison, but I'm also worried. He was locked in at that flex for me, at least until Cooper Kupp comes back. But there's concern in my mind right now. Cowboys defense, thank you, perfect, the best defense in the league. And now my RB4 and 5, I think both of these players will end up seeing more touches throughout the year, especially if Gainwell doesn't play. Watch out for Swift tomorrow. watch out for Swift. He has so much talent. He just needs to break through and show it for that roster. He's going to earn the starting spot at some point in the year. I already know it. Christian Kirk. Now, I wasn't able to see every snap of this game, but from what I've heard, he's getting beat up by Zay Jones. Zay Jones is no slouch. But I'm hopeful that Christian Kirk's time will come. We need to see more week 1. We don't want to panic on him. So right now, I'm keeping him as my wide receiver 3, 4, 5. Because these two kids down here, I got Zay in the thumbnail for a reason. He looked great. Zay Flowers, Boston's college guy. He might have surprised a lot of people, but he didn't surprise me because my dad, props to him, he was the top Zay Flowers advocate. He wanted the Patriots to draft him. I'm a New England guy. We ended up going with Gonzalez. Not mad at it, but Zay Flowers might be that dude. He looked like that dude. Addison, his time will come. We need to see the volume, but Zay Flowers, I heard a stat today that he got 10 targets out of the 21 receiver targets for the Baltimore Ravens. That target share, that should pop out to you. Dalton Schultz injured, apparently. Didn't see much of his game. Not worried. I was focused on Goddard. Honestly, I didn't know enough. That offense is gonna throw the ball. I'm still same stance on that kid. And now Jackson Smith-Njigba, I was able to swoop him up in waivers before this week started. He wasn't in my other video, but I was able to swoop him up, and I think maybe he's gonna get to see more volume now that offense has struggled. Maybe they'll look to him, or maybe they'll pick it up, and he won't be a factor. I don't know much about him. I know he's an Ohio State graduate, and I know there's a lot of tough receivers from Ohio State. So that's it. And yeah, that wraps up this league, my high-scoring league. Let's go on to the next one. All right, here we go. We go to the next league. This is my keeper league. I get 2 keepers, and we also got money involved. So this is where it really counts. And to start off at the top, I think this is my most concerned player on all 4 of my rosters. I am very, very concerned at how dysfunctional Chicago looked. I thought the addition with DJ Moore and another year for Fields, all them stuff I'm hearing about his arm, his accuracy, he just needs to figure it out. Now I am officially concerned. He got completely outplayed by Jordan Love and did not look good. I got to see a lot of this game. He did not look good. He didn't. Point blank, period. And now I'm nervous. Thankfully, I got a good backup, as you can see if you look down. But Fields is on a short leash. Jacobs, we're giving him time, right? So you see 9.1 points. That was not Josh Jacobs' normal production, but he joined camp late, contract dispute. Let him build some steam. Eventually, he's going to get rolling to be the Josh Jacobs we all know and love, right? Saquon, game script kind of hurt him. He looked great, though. To me, I think he looked great. When I saw him handle the ball, he looked like himself. He just didn't get the volume that he's normally going to see. And wait till next week against Arizona. He's going to bust out. A.J. Brown and Jamar Chase, not worried. A.J. Brown, he ended up coming through late in the game against a good Patriots defense. The Eagles struggled against us, and we were able to, kind of show we're here. We're here, and we're gonna play, and you're not gonna walk over us, basically. Jamar, though, he didn't look like himself. I'm hoping this is just a bad game from him, but he dropped a lot of balls through his hands, contested catches that I thought he was gonna be able to make, that he should have been able to make, and he just didn't make them. It's hard to rely on those type of catches, but at the spot where I drafted him, that's what I drafted him for. Like, I drafted him to be that guy. Next week we'll see. Week 1, don't overreact. Let's wait until next week to get real nervous on Chase. He gonna pull through, right? We gotta have faith. Kmet, surprisingly, got a lot of volume. Tunyon didn't steal anything from him. I started to get worried that Tunyon was gonna come in for his reps, right? Thankfully, he was a little safety blanket for Fields. Caught a couple passes down the stretch to help shore up that 9.4 points. But I can't be mad at it, Scary Terry, he had 5 points, but the outlook on Terry is for the talent. He's gonna go off a couple games. He's gonna have a couple stinkers because that roster is so incompetent that I'm not gonna expect too much out of him. If we can get through to win this guy's not suspended anymore. Terry did his job. Maybe I'll move him for a tight end. Maybe I'll keep him for depth, probably because Deontay's hurt. Which brings me down to Deontay Johnson. Unfortunately, probably going to be IR'd, but I got slots for him, and he's going to be there. I'm going to let him sit, let him rest. Hopefully he comes back the same guy. Take all the time you need, yada, yada, yada. Steelers are actually pretty good with injury history and getting their players right. So, hopefully, all goes well. Kamara didn't play, suspended. You know we're waiting on him. Nope. Khalil Herbert, I thought he looked really good. A lot of people think Roshan Johnson, Roscoe Johnson. I don't know how to say his name, but I know he looked decent too. But I think Khalil Herbert has a foot in the backfield. Like he's gonna make his presence known against Tampa Bay. He's gonna make his presence known for the rest of the season. I got faith in the kid. Sigh of relief for Cortland Sutton catching a touchdown in an NFL game that mattered and it was close. You know, like I'm thankful that I was able to pick him up and he performed. But Sutton's one of my guys, so it was good to see him perform. Honestly, Deshaun Watson, you keep looking like that. Sure up your game. You won't be starting sooner rather than later. I'll tell you that much. Then we go down to Gerald Everett. Disappointing game, you know. Parham, watch out for him. Might be splitting a little bit more of the snaps and targets in the Chargers offense. I'm gonna say Clippers. That that sums up the roster. Like my questions and concerns, or my comments and concerns. And we're gonna move on to my 3rd out of 4 analyzations. Now we move on to the last winning roster of Week 1. We got Jalen Hurts at the helm. Patriots defense is for real. Don't overlook that. Eagles will be fine. Pats defense, for real. For real. We were for real last year. We're for real this year. Now we get to CMC. The man himself, I wish I had him in more leagues after this week. I'm glad I was able to roster CMC. He looks like the man. He is the man. San Francisco, too. They look like the best team in the NFL right now. Be careful and watch out for that team. Isaiah Pacheco. I'd like to see more, but the talent last year really showed. I didn't see it as much in Week 1. It's unfortunate, but hopefully Kelsey comes back and kind of rounds things out for that organization and things go back to normal with Pacheco. But his output, you can't be too mad at it, but you want more. You want to see more. You want more volume. Stephon Diggs, can you get the guy even more targets, even more? Like, if you're Josh Allen, like, let's get your team in the win column. He's over here he leans on Stephon Diggs when he needs to and then doesn't some other times. Like, get this kid the ball. He is special. The same way that Tua leans on Tyreek. The same way that Stafford leans on Kupp. The same way that all other top receivers get leaned on. He should get those same amount. He should get those games where he has 18 targets, 15 targets. When it's down to the nitty-gritty like that, you need to get Stephon Diggs the ball. Now, Mike Evans, a lot of people surprised. A lot of people think he's just so high. Yeah, if you're going to get a top 5 receiver for him, then yeah, sell him. But he's Mike Evans. He's Mr. Consistency. If he falls off, but at the tail end of his career, he's had 10 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Like, I'm not going to bet against him. I don't care who's at the helm. He is that talented. He would have had 2 touchdowns, but he dropped 1. He's the man. Come on, it's Mike Evans. Hopefully Mark Andrews is healthy this week for Baltimore's sake. We're going to get to Lamar soon. DJ Moore. Just go back to what I said on Fields. Like, honestly, it's sad they didn't get to do more, but let's just call it the Jair Alexander blanket, because that's what we have to do, right? We have to be hopeful. Thinking a little bit with my heart and not my head, just because, like, DJ Moore was going to be my guy. Like, I thought he was going to explode, but it was tough to watch that game for Justin Fields, DJ Moore guy, I recently picked up Denver's defense. I got 3 defenses here. I didn't want to let go of the Pats D or the Ravens D, but I didn't want to play them in either of these matchups. So what I did was I ended up picking up the Denver Broncos defense, and I'm not too sure who I dropped, but it is what it is. DeAndre Swift went over it. Khalil Herbert. I already talked about Khalil Herbert. I think he's a great player. Quentin Johnson, stash. Don't worry about week 1. We're thinking about week 7, week 8, week 9. Maybe he gets in there, maybe he doesn't. But I don't know too much about him. I like to take flyers on some of the rookies, and Quentin Johnson was one of them. Tua, QB1, right? Just absolutely lit up that Chargers defense. He looked great. Miami looked great. Hopefully he stays healthy because he looked like the man. All right, Sam Laporta. I drafted him as a flyer because I heard a lot of good things out of camp, but he looked good. He got a lot of snaps. He did get a lot of snaps. If he wins that tight end room and he's just a guy the whole year, I think Laporta could be a very sneaky tight end 1. All right. Now, let's go to the losing side of things. Here we are with the one losing roster. Can you spot why we lost? Lamar. Terry. It's whatever, Still put up 93 points despite 2 stinkers, 2 busts from two of my dogs, I think both these players are very, very, very talented. And am I worried about Lamar? No. Players have bad games. I think Lamar just played poorly, You can't play perfect every single game. I think he's going to bounce back. Is it going to be this week where he explodes and shows I'm still the man? I don't know. But I think he bounced back, gets in the end zone. Also, two of the red zone touchdowns that they had went to running backs. It is what it is. Lamar's going to pull a couple of those back and take them in himself. It's just inevitable. It's Lamar fucking Jackson. He's an MVP. Don't be worried about Lamar, please. Especially with this guy down here. He's the man. He eat a dog. And then we got Nick Chubb, ETN, Kenneth Walker. All RB 1, 2, and 3. We're not worried at all. I think Cleveland looked really good. I think Jacksonville looked really good. For the most part. They had a couple of drives where I was watching and I was like, got a little worried. Am I worried about Devontae Adams with his 12-piece? No, not at all. I think he's Devontae Adams. He's still going to be a top 5 guy. Hawkinson, tight end 3. He's a top 3 or 4 tight end, depending on how you see it. Top 5, maybe if you're crazy, but I think he's top 4. I think it's 3 guys ahead of him: Kittle, Kelsey, Andrews. Pretty simple. And we got Mike Andrews on our bench, who I'm playing McLaurin over because I believe McLaurin's talent is just too much to pass up on, especially on this roster where my wide receiver 2 is kind of my only hole. And watch out for Flowers to come take that, but we're good on running backs, as you can see, right? George Pickens, very talented kid, needs to put it together. Needs to. Deontay Johnson just went down with an injury. Hopefully they'll lean on him a little bit more. Maybe see some more volume. But just give the kid a shot, Just put the ball in his vicinity. He has a chance to go up and get it every single time. He's that good. David Njoku, I didn't get to see much of him, but I liked what I saw from the Browns when I did see it. He just didn't see a lot of volume, I presume. But he'll be there all year. He's a good tight end 9, tight end 8, around that range. You got Jamal Williams, who could play in another league, but I got him for depth. He's my RB5? I'm not mad at Jamal Williams as my RB5. Not at all. That's a lot of depth. Zay Flowers, I've been talked about him. T-Law, you look good. Him and Ridley are going to be great all year. And then, last but certainly not least, Big Breece Hall, baby. That man looked devious. Nah, I wasn't watching. I was streaming, but I know he looked right, Nah, guys, you got any questions about anybody? Listen, you can hit me in the comments. I'll hit you back. If you want to discuss anything, let me know. Alright, guys, that wraps up this video. Let's hope we get more dubs this week. And until next time, catch me on the streams, baby.